Greetings and welcome to Ethics. My name is Joe Vukov and I will be your instructor for the semester. I'm rather excited for this course and I hope that you are as well. What you are listening to right now is what I am going to be calling a mini lecture. In these mini lectures I hope to do what I would normally do in class. Namely, I hope to walk you through each of our readings, highlight important points from them, and raise questions to help you begin thinking beyond the readings. However, since you obviously did not have any readings for today, it would be hard for me to walk you through them. Therefore, today I hope to simply go over the semester's syllabus. Now, since YouTube limits my lectures to 10 minutes, I will not be able to get through every detail. Therefore, if you haven't done so already, you should take a good look at the Syllabus Overview PowerPoint that I have posted to D2L. You can find it under the Course Materials heading of the Content tab. But even though I won't be able to cover every detail found in the PowerPoint in this lecture, I should be able to touch on most of the basics of the course. So I would now suggest that you pull up the syllabus that I have posted online. You can find it under the Course Introduction heading of the Content tab on D2L. If you have it in front of you, throughout the duration of the lecture, you'll be able to follow along as I highlight various areas of it. Starting at the beginning then, my office hours are from 11 till noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and from 9:30 till 10:30 on Tuesday and Thursday. If you are busy during these times, feel free to contact me, and we can arrange another time to meet. Speaking of contacting me, I am best at responding to my Gmail account listed on your syllabus. However, you can also call me on my cell phone, which I have written down for you. I will refrain from repeating the number aloud so as to keep from broadcasting it to the entire YouTube audience. Moving along in the syllabus, you will see the course description and goals. If you want to read through the official Minescu content areas and learning outcomes for ethics, you can find them on the internet at the website that I have listed. These, however, are only the official goals for the course. I also have some of my own. Namely, I hope that in this course I will be able to expose you to the basic frameworks that people have used and continue to use to think about ethical notions such as right and wrong and good and bad. Furthermore, I hope that by the end of the course, you will be able to use these frameworks to navigate the ethical situations you encounter in your everyday lives. There are two texts for the course, both of which are available in the bookstore. Utilitarianism by John Stuart Mill is a short work of 19th century ethical theory, and our textbook, Ethical Theory, is a collection of writings by a wide assortment of philosophers, both ancient and modern. I will also be assigning you some additional readings that will be available for you on D2L. Academic honesty should go without saying in an ethics classroom. It would be the ultimate irony, after all, to cheat on one's ethics homework. Therefore, I will not put up with any sort of cheating, whether it be plagiarism, stealing information off the web, or anything else. The next section of the syllabus is, of course, the one that really counts, your evaluation. At the beginning of this section, I have listed some of my basic expectations, which I believe are pretty much the universal expectations for any college class. First, I expect your interaction in this course, whether they be with the readings, with me, or with your fellow classmates via the online discussion boards, to be respectful. This means that you should work to understand other people's positions and address people as you would wish to be addressed. Respecting people, however, especially in philosophy, does not mean agreeing with them. Indeed, if you agree with every one of our readings and with everything everyone else says, you likely aren't getting the point of the course. In philosophy, you can and should disagree with the people and ideas you encounter. It's just that you must be respectful while doing so. Related to this respect I expect you to show other people's work, I also assume that you will spend time thinking about all the topics we cover. Our texts all merit careful reading and some rereading. The issues and ideas we will be covering are complex and must be addressed as such. Furthermore, the individuals in our class represent a wide range of backgrounds and opinions that I expect you to seriously think about. In short, whether you are explaining another's view, interacting with a classmate, or putting forward a view of your own, I expect your work to demonstrate thoughtfulness. The last two expectations I have listed should be rather obvious. Namely, I expect all of your writing to be grammatically flawless. In the days of spell check and grammar check, there is simply no excuse for poor writing. And also, I expect all of your work to be turned in on time. Moving along then, let's look at the specific means by which I will be evaluating you. Your grade will be a weighted one. This means that your various assignments will count towards a certain percentage of your final grade. The most significant of these areas are your reading responses. Now, my grading scheme for reading responses is a bit complicated, but I can assure you it's all for your own good. Each response is worth 10 points, and should follow the template I have posted to D2L. The 10 points break down as follows. You can get a point for listing key terms from a reading, 3 points for listing the main ideas from a reading, 4 points for capturing a reading's thesis, and 2 points for asking some questions about a reading. Listing key terms is easy. You only need to look for words in your reading that seem important to the author and write them down. Listing a reading's major ideas is also pretty easy. Just find 3 things central to the author's argument and write them down in your own words. Figuring out the thesis to a reading is a little bit tougher task. To do this, you should, after completing the reading, you should ask yourself what it is that everything in that reading points towards. Once you have figured this out, write it down, again in your own words. As far as your questions go, all you need to do is ask anything about the reading you would care to. You can write down things you don't understand, things you had a problem with, and so on. For a better idea of what a complete reading response should look like, you can check out the sample reading response I have posted to D2L under the Content tab. Okay, so you can get up to 10 points for a reading response. Full credit for your reading response is 150 points. However, we have 30 reading assignments, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 30. What this means then is that, if you're good at math, is that you don't have to turn in a reading response for every assignment. Indeed, you only have to turn in reading responses until you get your 150 points. This means that, to some extent, you get to choose what to do. You could, for instance, turn in 15 perfect reading responses, or turn in all 30 reading responses filled out only halfway. You could turn in responses for every assignment during the first half of the semester and then take a break at the end. Or you could turn in one every week throughout the semester and slowly build up to your 150 points. Basically, as long as you get your 150 points for reading responses, I don't care how you do it. But you should be warned, if you wait till there's only 10 assignments left to start turning in responses, well, guess what? It's impossible for you to get your 150 points. 10 assignments means 10 responses means a maximum of 100 points. Unlike reading responses, your final will be pretty straightforward. It's just going to be a short paper. I'll get you more information on it later in the semester. You will also be taking weekly quizzes. These quizzes will be available on D2L from Wednesday at midnight until Friday at midnight. You will be able to take each quiz 3 times, and only your highest score will be kept. The last area of your evaluation will be the discussion board. Philosophy is all about having good discussion. So, since we will never meet in person, I expect you to be actively participating in discussion board conversations. This means that you must post 3 50-word posts every week. For more details about this assignment, you should see the discussion board guidelines on D2L. Last then, before wrapping up today's mini-lecture, I would like to talk a little bit about how I'm going to structure this class. Although there are no specific times that you have to log into D2L, you should consider class days to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. These are the days for which your readings are assigned. At noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays, your reading responses will therefore be due. You'll be able to submit them to a Dropbox on D2L. Also at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be posting 2 things under the Course Materials heading of the Content tab. First, I will post a PowerPoint that will walk you through the reading assignment for the day and introduce any issues I feel are relevant. Second, I will post a mini-lecture, much like this one, which will touch on some of the areas covered in the PowerPoint and introduce some new topics as well. Although the mini-lecture and PowerPoint will thus cover some of the same material, I do expect you to access both. This brings me to the end of my first mini-lecture. I hope it has been enlightening. If you have any questions about anything I have covered today, you should consult your syllabus or the materials I have posted to D2L. If you still have questions after this, don't hesitate to contact me.